etc. They also have water filters that remove fluoride, and they also have heirloom seeds. I have them. You should have them, or don't. It's your call. But after watching this video right now, you may change your mind. But I think that this stuff right here is incredibly important. And it isn't just for the end of times or anything like that. It's for weather warfare. There's a reason that I prep. And I think there's a reason you should too. Look at all the earthquakes and every other wacky thing that's been going on. Look at the storms that they're conjuring up down south. You see what I'm saying? Being prepared, having food to feed yourself, your family, and having the ability to have clean water is important. This Patriot Pantry helps me, and it helps you. If it didn't, I wouldn't run it. And that's just a fact. Anybody that's ever met me knows for a fact that I prepare, and I have this stuff in my vehicle, my house, and my office. So you should too. Or don't. Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richy from Boston. Today's the 8th of August, 2019. And I'm about to show you an interview that I did with a YouTube channel called Photo Helix last night. Now, instead of just leaving the link to his channel, I'm going to save most of the interview because it's a pretty decent interview. The only problem is the first 15, 20 minutes, his audio is horrendous. So I'm going to try to just circumvent that completely and give you only what's actually audible. So enjoy. I'll also leave links to his channel in the comment section, and you can watch the entire thing. Or don't. I'm out.
Can you hear me okay, though? You and me can hear. They'll figure it out.
I can hear you fine right now. Right now, you're good to go. You're 5x5.
Okay. Where? Because some people say you're from Boston. That's what your name. Somebody had said you weren't actually born in Boston. Is that correct? I know somewhat of the backstory on that, but so that the public and the people that tune in can get that, you're not literally from Boston, but that's where you reside now. So that's why you're from Boston, right?
Well, I was born on a military base at Fort Belvoir in Virginia. I was born on a military base. They shipped my father to Vietnam, but I grew up in Lynn, Massachusetts, which is 15 minutes from Boston. I didn't give myself the name Richy from Boston. That was given to me because of the way I talk, apparently. But I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts.
Okay. So does that answer that question? All right. Hey, we're up to number 6, man. You got a long way to go, brother. All right. So now I want you to again, a couple of things that people have asked or made points. The vehicle that you drive, you do make a lot of trips back and forth. I know you do some construction, stuff like that. I get personal with these things, so bear with me, all right? But with the vehicle you drive, I wanted you to maybe plug that you have a channel where people can go, like if they're looking into supplies or they want to see how you've done your vehicle. I don't know if you're sharing necessarily how well your vehicle is ready for such events as floods or earthquakes or any other catastrophe. But you're ready to jump in and say again? Yeah, it's a apocalyptic vehicle.
Yeah.
Right. So could you share with people maybe exactly what kind of vehicle it is that you drive and why you have it so souped up with survival? I mean, share that with them so that they understand why you do what you do in that category, because some people would just think, well, you don't need to be driving all over and doing all the things that you do like that in the vehicle. Why do you? And so this is a 2-part question. 1, why is it so fixed the way it is as far as survival? And 2, why do you make trips like you do? Because I know you go out and visit some of your people that subscribe and stuff like that. And I don't know that everybody's really aware of exactly what you really do when you make these long journeys. So if you can answer both of those, I'm going to sit back, drink my coffee, and listen to you.
All right. It's a 1997 Toyota Land Cruiser. It's an old truck. It's souped up the way it is because I literally live out of it when I'm on the road. I don't do hotels, motels, any of that stuff. And I like four-wheeling, and I also like going where people aren't because I've made videos before explaining how I've literally been targeted, and apparently I'm super sensitive to Wi-Fi. So every time I can, I get as far away from it as I can, and out west is where it's at because out west is not the city. what I do when I hit the road is I always go visit at least 5 subscribers face to face, because apparently it matters to them. I don't get it, but whatever. It matters to them. It makes them happy. I've helped people out. We brought truckloads of supplies to those people that got hit with the quote unquote rain bomb in West Virginia that killed over a dozen people, because overnight they got so much rain, it trapped them in their houses and killed them. Myself and several other YouTube channels went out there and we brought supplies. We worked there all day. YouTubers did more than FEMA and the National Guard combined in one day, and that's a fact. I brought bug out bags to single moms with kids and such. It's just what I do. You know what I mean? I guess it justifies why I roll out so often. But when I'm home, I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything except vape and eat ice cream at night. And I save up, and all I bring is gas money, and I hit the road, live out of the truck. The truck's made so that I can live out of it. So that's basically what I do. It's not easy. It's not awesome, but I love it. So there's that.
So now
just fall out of
this is a side. Yeah, I'm right there. No, I was getting it. I've got water and all that. Niagara. It used to be Niagara, R-A, but now it's Gara, G-A-R-A. I never get that. Niagara Falls.
It's like depends. Niagara. Depends. It's always been depend. But I digress.
Man, that was the joke. Yeah, really? You wear diapers? Nah, it depends.
It depends.
No more.
At any rate.
She's asking people if they want certain questions they might want to hear about in the chat room. So we're going to try and grab a couple of those too. That 6 and 7 question.
That's pretty cool that you're putting the subscribers' names up there. That's badass. Carlo Red Pill.
Yeah, that nice. Yeah.
You got a butler, man. I need a butler.
Richy from China is Richy. You out here. So there's an invitation. That's pretty cool. That'd be a nice ride. Hey, Carlo Red Pill.
I'm going to Arizona, so.
There you go, man. There you go. Speaking of Arizona, I got to ask you this one. And this is going to, now we're getting ready to get into that second phase, and then we'll get to the good stuff. Okay, I got to ask you this, bro. Rachel Rienstra. That was somebody that had, I guess you and her had sort of befriended a little bit, just, collaborated. And you had done, because somebody asked me about that, you had done a video with her about the chemtrails and those kinds of things. And I guess she got some doctor or somebody she went to visit or something. And anyway, you and her sort of had a falling out or something, and it sort of, under the buzz kind of deal. Is there anything you'd want to share on that at all? I mean, I know it's just more or less a lot of miscommunication as far as the people, not necessarily you and her as much, but I know the people really was giving both of y'all such a hard time on it because it was a third-party interview with this doc or something. But ultimately, we know that these chemtrails do exist, and I know you talk about them and stuff like that, but there's a lot of stuff other than just this chemtrail lung that it was such a viral video that y'all had done. And I was just curious about that. If you care to share in the hot seat, what happened there? Is that something you'd want to share, or do you want to keep that hush?
If you're gonna ask a question, you gotta stop talking so I can answer afterwards. You're killing me.
See, that's the problem.
So check this out. Check this out. I made a video a while back. I don't even know how long, but it was a long time ago. And what I was doing was trying to find somebody to co-host with me. I used to have Anthony Patch, the guy that's the CERN expert. He used to come on with me 2-3 times a week. We would talk about CERN. We would talk about politics, current events, etc. Anthony got himself a radio gig. I declined to go on the radio. I did not want to do Truth Frequency Radio, and I still won't. So there's that. And I got a ton of people that hit me up. And this woman hits me up and says, I'm from Hollywood. I'm still on TV, blah, blah, blah. So I said, great. I watched some of her videos. She was funny, and she claimed that she knew what was up. So there you go. Long story short, I hit the road. So I'm in Colorado, and she sends me a text and says, dude, I've got a doctor that will come on and straight up tell everybody. And I said, is this legit? She said, absolutely. Without a doubt, it's legit. No problem. I said, well, I'm going to have to vouch for you. You know what I mean? Because people aren't going to take this lightly whatsoever at all. And I did. And apparently it was I don't even know to this day, because I never actually asked. I don't know if she set the whole thing up with the doctor because, Hollywood, I don't know. If you're going from Hollywood and you want to jump on YouTube, apparently your career isn't flourishing. Long story short, I asked my subscribers on Patreon a personal question. I said, do you guys think I'm being played by her? And that set her off and she started making videos. And I just did what I did with everything else. It is what it is. I screwed up. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? I have no way of vetting this dude. I took her word for it and I vouched for her. So sadly, I don't vouch for anyone anymore. That's where that lies.
Right.
You know what I mean? Seriously, I took somebody's word for it, and it turns out it was wrong. I think the doctor was an actor or a crazy guy or some shit. I don't know. Apologize for swearing.
He was a little on the edge, you got to say that. He was sort of a new agey kind of guy, which can bring me to the next question. See how this works?
But photo, I was in my truck in Colorado at the time, so I had no way to vet the guy. I had to stand on her word, and it turns out it blew up. You know what I mean? So there's that.
I think she sort of did a second glance at that too after the fact. I think she was sort of, because she didn't know who she was interviewing at the time. She didn't really have his background down until it was after all done. So I think both of y'all sort of ended up in a bad side there.
It happens.
As far as
it happens, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And you never know. You just never know if you don't vet. And that's the next thing brings me to this one. You're one of these guys that are just like, whatever, I digress, but whatever. Do or don't. You're just a no holds barred, no kidding. Brian Stagley says I'm offended by all the cuss words.
I saw it. It popped up. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. I'll send you a box of chocolates.
Yeah, you've heard because Brian.
Mama
right?
always said life was like a box of Alpo dog treats. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
Isn't
right.
That movie from The Line? Luke, I am your massage therapist.
Could be today, yeah. So really, you're just this guy that is just like really. Some people think you're gruff or rough around the edges, and you know what I mean. Just a man's man kind of guy. If we were out in the West, you'd definitely slinging your 6-gun. But you don't take no. You just don't have time, and I don't think people realize just how much of doing this. I know I'm working on a full length film right now that we're doing. To release to the public, and with a bunch of different, it's a big collaboration, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, we're talking, people just don't have a clue in some cases. And so you really don't have time for all the foolishness. Again, I thank you for being on here with me as making this comeback. It's your fault that I'm actually here, so thank you for that too, I suppose. But really, you just, you ain't got time for the foolishness. Whatever, do or don't bother me. Why are you such that kind of person? What through life, how have you grown? What's made you so, I don't want to say carefree, because I think you care a lot. I don't think you're just necessarily carefree. I think you're wise and smart in the ways that you do. I think you're manipulative in some ways about what you do in your circumstances. But at the same time, you strike me as the kind of person that you're not necessarily the most friendly person if people don't really know you. It's like, don't bother me. I just don't have to, if they're smart, but if not, maybe don't have time for the foolishness. What's made you get to that point in your life? What has happened to you that's made you grow in such a way as that? Because it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, you understand do you understand the question?
I got you. I'll tell you what. Remember what I told you? Going to jail for somebody else when I didn't have to get involved, getting shot for somebody else because I didn't think the guy would do it. I've had my nose broken 17 times. I was driving earlier before I came to do this live stream with you, and I was thinking to myself, man, it was a lot easier being a bad guy. It's hard being a Christian. You know what I mean? It is. It's hard. But The way I am is the way I am all the time. It's just how I am. I don't know what to tell anybody. You know what I'm saying? If anybody needs help, if somebody's drowning, if anything is going wrong. I ended up on the news a couple of months ago because someone carjacked somebody in front of my house and tried to run a bunch of people over. And of course, YouTube said Richy's a crisis actor because he's on the news. I'm on the news giving them my real name, explaining what happened. I stopped the carjacking because I'm that dude. I never turn the other cheek. I never let anybody. It's always my business. So right. I don't know what to tell people, and I'm not going to make apologies for it. I deal with God on my own level every single solitary day, usually numerous times a day. The biggest thing, Richy, you swear. So you must be a Satanist. No, I swear because I'm not going to judge anybody else, but I will swear. And I ask God every single solitary day to forgive me. You know what I mean? I ask God for patience. I pray for patience, and he surrounds me with mental patience. You got to be very specific when you pray. You know what I mean? But
get what you ask for. You ask God for patience.
I'm doing as good as I can. You know what I'm saying? So
if you ask for strength, he's going to put more weight on you. If you ask for patience, he'll give you more weight for sure. Okay, so another question. This is number 12. So you're almost halfway there, brother.
Number 12. Number 12.
Yeah, it's number 12.
Photo helix.
I ain't keeping count. Okay, so you smoke a vape.
I do.
And puff. Question: What do you smoke? I mean, what kind of stuff is it, or the smoke and things like that? And not everybody, I guess, is aware of that. So I guess that's a legitimate question. And what got you into doing that? I know trying to quit smoking, maybe, or experimenting, or whatever. And what do you think of it? I mean, is it because I tried to vape before and to see, and it's not so bad as far as flavor stuff. It's mainly just heated an oil that creates a steam in water. But what is it that what kind of flavor, and what got you to doing that? Why do you do that now? What put you in that mode?
I've lifted weights since I was 14. I've been a power lifter my whole life, like lifting big weight. Pick it up, put it down, repeat, blah, blah, blah. And I did competitions, etc. And while everybody else was, drinking their protein shakes during, when it wasn't their turn yet, I was outside smoking a Marlboro. I smoked 2 packs a day forever. I was the dude with a big mouthful of dip when a drill sergeant's asking me what's in my mouth when we're in formation. You know what I mean? So I'm the dude that swallows it. Long story short, I smoked forever. My uncle handed me his vape one day. I hit it, and it was like smoking a bowl of Cocoa Pebbles. And from there out, I quit smoking that day. My sense of smell came back. My lungs came back. So I've never smoked again because I smoked for almost 30 years. And strangely enough, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl convinced me that smoking would be the best thing I ever did in my life. And being the man that I am, I believed her. So there's that. We'll call her Jezebel just for short. Sorry.
That's funny, brother. That's funny. Okay, so that's number 12. So we're at number 13. Now, 13, they say, is one of those scary numbers. Have you ever been in a building where, don't count this as the question, by the way. Not that easy.
Where there's no 13th floor? Yes.
Yeah.
I live in Boston, brother. They all have no 13th floor.
That's crazy, isn't it? So here's the thing.
No, it's there, but it isn't there.
Right. They call it 12 to 14, right?
Yep.
So if you're in that situation where you're looking at numerology and these types of events and things that are happening in our world, and how the powers that be, some of these governmental agencies that are into their satanic bliss, 13's a big number, man. 13 seems to be something, they always consider it bad luck. It's the dark number and all this and that. How do you think that the numbers play in? And this is, again, just your point of view and opinion, with some of the stuff that's happening, such as Freemasonry and some of the New World Order kind of concepts. Well, there's my flag right there. But you understand what I mean. What do you think? This 13, since we're at the 13th floor, 13th question, what is the deal with all of the numbers, and they're broadcast everywhere? People see these things and they think, it's the New World Order. So that opens into this next step. So what do you think about the number 13? And is that something that's bad, or is it just another number and somebody's tried to hijack it?
Well, I've done videos on this exact thing, the 13th, the Knights of Templar, so forth and so on. But it turns out that we might not even have that correct. Because, again, everything that we're researching, even as deep as people go, we're still researching their history. It's his story. So it's really tough to tell. But with the numerology, the New World Order, mainstream media, all this stuff, these guys are constantly communicating with each other. Like, my favorite thing to pull up all the time is the Economist magazine. They own it. It's owned by the Rothschilds and other concerns. These guys are constantly showing numerology, symbolism, so forth and so on. Symbolism there's a reason that whomever built the pyramids used hieroglyphics. We only know what hieroglyphics are because they tell us what they figured out with the Rosetta Stone. But symbols, the way these people spoke was a whole nother dimension above us. We're using words and letters and such. These guys were using pictures and so forth and so on. And I believe the Illuminists, the Illuminant ones, are still doing the same thing. I hope that answers it somewhat, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I'm no expert, man. I'm just an asshole with a laptop.
Well, that brings me to the next part. Since we're talking about numbers and symbolism, I want to look at the alphabets for a little bit. In the alphabet soup industry, and you know what I'm talking about, we have everything from the new report from FBI to people like Bush Sr. and other groups that are running in our government under the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, for those, unless it's all these different things. But they seem to go with the alphabets. It's been stated, Mr. Surf, or in Boston, that you, and of course I've heard it too, but you know what I mean, and you know where I'm going. But hey, it's the hot seat. So there's that, right? Are you a member of the CIA, sir?
I'm a convicted felon numerous times over, so no. And you can't be a Freemason if you're a convicted felon. Just FYI. That's kind of easy to research, but whatever.
That's right. That's right. So
plus,
why
I'm
do
a
you
transgendered woman, so that would make it even more difficult. And I'm gay, and I'm an alien, and I'm a demon. So, yeah.
So that brings me to
one hell of a. I'd be one hell of a guest on Oprah, I suppose, but no, alphabet agencies don't take you.
Right. Why do you think so many people? And do you think this goes to? And this is your next question. Is number 15. Do you think this goes into the idea that we have these blocks? You did a report. If people don't know, somebody there's a lot of wrenches running around. Hopefully, if somebody's out there, make sure we put a link, if you would, to Richy's channel. We've got a link in the description as well. So y'all make sure you check out Richy from Boston, and he also has a backup, Richy from Boston too. And the others, I want to say Pathfinder, but you'll have to tell me that one, Richy.
Jailbreak Overlander.
There you go, Jailbreak Overlander. Y'all can go over there and subscribe too, if you haven't. But Richy, why do you think it is that these things that people, so many, are calling truthers, like you and some of the others and myself, agents? I mean, I know there's a lot out here. Do you think that the AI is a lot of what's making some of these comments? And that's number 15.
Well, I don't know. I can't, you can't, nobody can prove that the AI is actually up and running as of yet. We know there's algorithms. We know that there's D-Wave. We know that there's Q. IBM's quantum computer is called Q, just FYI, Q. But I just did a video the other day where I showed about 16 different links to the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Mossad, MI6, and specifically Israel. Now that's going to get the video hit. These guys have $1 million troll armies that sit there all day long and attack channels. It's amazing how people that consider themselves woke will see a comment. There'll be 500 comments like, this is great, you're the best, blah, blah, blah. And one guy will say, you're a shill. And the next 10 comments are like, I think he is a shill because that last guy just said he was a shill. That's predictive programming still bleeding into the truther community. And then there's certain channels that pop up 11 months ago, almost all of them, 11 months ago, that are making videos getting 4, 5, 600,000 views. saying absolutely nonsensical ragtime bullshit like Donald Trump is spraying vitamins in the sky to reclaim Earth. That's
right?
Stupid. And people are buying it hook, line, and sinker. I have never got so many emails in the last month. Richie, we haven't had chemtrails here in a while. I think Donald Trump is doing it. It's like, dude, they don't chemtrail every single solitary day. And sometimes you can't see it when they do it because they do it at sea. They do it by land. They do it by air. And as soon as everyone thinks they're gone, they come back again. You see what I mean? People are, everyone needs to understand. I never consider myself an expert. I don't consider myself anything other than an asshole with a laptop and a big mouth. But I show links. Every time I tell you something, look it up for yourself, and I leave the links all day, every day. Too many people, when you start getting 100, 200, 300,000 subscribers, people start sending you emails going, dude, you're the smartest, most handsome, unbelievable person, and some people actually drink the Kool-Aid. I won't. I'm an asshole. These are $5 glasses from Home Depot. You see what I mean? Don't take yourself too seriously. We're all assholes in the same boat going over the same falls, no matter what. The only thing I'm telling you is grab a life preserver, and the preserver's name is Jesus Christ. Well, Jesus isn't real. The Freemasons wrote the Bible. It's really? Then why is it you can talk about Muhammad? You can talk about Allah. You can talk about Buddha, you can talk about anybody. You talk about Jesus Christ, you might end up in handcuffs. And that's a fact. You know what I mean? It's a slight stretch, slightly, but it's happened. Do you see what I mean? The military's main chaplain is a Satanist. Not just like, I dabble with the Ouija board. No, I was rolling with Anton LaVey. I am that kind of Satanist. He's the one that wrote the religious textbooks for the military. That's not good, man. It just isn't. So I digress.
I love it. Okay, so that's good, dude. That's good. I love it. So that leads me. Let's go to that question. Okay, we'll just let this thing flow, however it goes. Why, out of your life and looking at all these things and where you're at now, and you've progressed, you've grown. Everybody, I think, if we really put our minds to it and we look at that hindsight 2020, where we can look back and see where we've been. Most of us can look back and see that we've either at least stayed level, but some of us are going off edge and off kilter, but you seem to have grown. And I'm not just talking about your channel numbers, which we might even talk about that, how you've reached so many people and seem to just take your message and really open up a lot of eyes, I think. And I do, for people who don't know, I think you've helped really a lot more people than people realize. But why or what has taken place in your life to bring you to that concept of believing in God and believing in Jesus and those types of things? What has brought you in that spiritual journey in your life? Where did that begin? Is that something from childhood that has resurfaced, or is that something you've been struggling to go and you just finding your way? I mean, is there something that's taken place that's really helped to lead you, or somebody plant a seed, or whatever it is? Share sort of a testimony kind of concept. Why do you think there's a God, brother? What's put that in your mind, in your heart? Why is it that you know that spirit is real?
I've always known there was a God. I've always known that there was a God. And this is a fact, another thing that people could research if they were so inclined. I was expelled from Catholic school in the second grade. Second grade, I was thrown out forever. You can never come back. So that was my path to Catholicism. I put a tack on Sister Stefania's seat. She sat on it, and everybody ratted me out. Everybody ratted me out. St. Pius, Lynn, Massachusetts. I was expelled in second grade. Don't ever come back. I always knew there was a God, but to me, the God was the same as my grandfather. God was watching me all the time, and I was doing bad shit all the time. So I never once asked God for help because I knew He was watching. When I first started waking up, I was watching the History Channel because I've always been huge into science and history, always, no matter what. And I understood that if you try to make something, because I can basically, for the most part, make pretty much anything. I can build you a motorcycle. I can build you a computer, kind of. I can build pretty much anything, a house. I'm good like that. And when you look around at how intricate every single solitary thing, the variety of animals, everything else, I knew there was a God. When I started researching UFOs, I saw the Belgian wave on the History Channel. It has to be back in like 2009. I started researching that and I instantly found the Illuminati, and it was on. It was so on. And like I say so many times, and this pisses a lot of other YouTubers off, if you think you're telling your subscribers about the truth and you don't know that God and Satan are fighting for our souls right now on this earth, you're wrong and you shouldn't have a channel. It's all I'm going to say. Because when you start looking at this, you can't help but notice that this is a spiritual war. This is absolutely insane. Myself and Erin Elizabeth, this is back when my channel was just starting to take off. We were both making videos all the time about holistic doctors. Every 2 days, a holistic doctor was found hanging from a tree in an SMN suit, upside down on the side of the road, dead. They just kept dying over and over and over. She's making videos. I'm making videos. Boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, she's making videos saying, my cell phone is attacking me and telling me I'm going to die of cancer. While that's happening to her, every night at 12:23, something is electrocuting me. And other people, it's not just me. Other people are watching this happening to me and going, dude, you're being possessed or whatever. That made me understand that these powers were greater than anything we could even understand, and that we were indeed in a spiritual battle. The day I started talking about put on the full armor of God was about 2 years into being attacked by some unseen force. And then finally, about a year and a half ago, Nicholson 1968 and I were talking. And he said, finally, dude, something's happening to me. And I said, me too. And I was afraid to make a video because I didn't want these people to know what they were doing was working. Because it sucked. I broke bones in my own body because of this. That's a true story. My ex is she works at a huge hospital here in Boston. She saw it happen. So, like I said, I mean, I don't know if I went off on a tangent there, but if you're researching this for real, it's God, it's Satan. Why are they doing it? I don't know, man. I don't know. But our soul, everyone right now on this earth has the ability to realize that all you have to do is give your life over to Jesus and you're safe. Let him take the body. My body's breaking down anyways. You know what I mean? The laws of thermodynamics doesn't only completely 100% refute evolution. It shows no mercy, man. You know what I mean? Every day when I wake up, something else doesn't work for no reason. My knee doesn't work. What, did you hurt it? No, I just woke up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I do. You know, I think
man, we're the only species on the planet that pays to live here, first off, and we're the only species on the planet that's afraid to die. Don't be afraid to die. If you can go out saving somebody else, so much the better. But we're coming to that point. We're coming to that point. I mean, dude, our own FBI that's supposed to protect Americans from all these never-ending mass shootings and false flag attacks and 9/11s and every other thing has decided, we're going to leave that all to the side. But anybody that disagrees with anybody else, domestic terrorist. We're here. We're here.
Jacob Israel said in the chat room, fear is a problem. And he went on to say, religion teaches fear. And just to touch on, I think the reason that Satan does what he does to destroy man is not just the aspect of jealousy as well, but his only thing that he can do to try and hurt God is to take what God loves. And that's us, mankind. And so that's why I think that battle is going on. That, you know, Jacob pulls up a really important thing, that religion does create fear in most cases, because just like politics and everything else, that, you know, if you don't vote this way or you don't vote that way or you don't do this or you don't do that, it's always a scare thing that they throw in there. And religion does the same thing. If you don't donate all your money here and get me a new jet, I'm not going to be able to get to you. You see what I mean? And so God's not going to smile on you if you don't plant all your money with me and create the prosperity gospels and things like that take off. And people use all of these different tactics to create fear in the people's minds so that the people are easily guided or directed, if you will. So with the concept of losing religion, I tell people it's not about religion, it's about an actual relationship. about.
I agree.
Pushing.
I agree. I don't belong. This is my church right here. I don't go to a church. You find somebody else that's actually willing to talk face to face about Jesus, and he's there. I truly, completely, and 100% believe that. I've spoken with Jesus in the middle of the desert, all by myself, 3 days from other people. You know what I'm saying? Organized religion. I mean, it's obvious what it is. Oh, you believe in Jesus Christ. The Vatican's evil. Yeah, well, those two don't actually have anything to do with each other. Just there's that. Catholics don't like hearing that. My dog tags said that I was a Roman Catholic, and I don't even know where they got that from, but I'm a Christian.
There you go. Now, you do realize that a lot of Roman Catholics will say that they're Christians. I think they've just got the biggest thing that always got me with that is Scripture.
They can be. They can be. It's easy enough.
Yeah, it's true. That's right. I'm not going to knock, but the actual layout, the Scripture, man, Father. For we have but one Father in heaven. That's our Creator.
It's funny that you said that because when I was talking about the Vatican, I was thinking that in my head. You're absolutely right. But you already knew that.
Yeah, and so they call the priest, Father. So I have an issue with that probably. And the idol stuff, the worship of idols and things. But I'm not trying to pick and point, as far as pulling the different things down. But there are certain things that are going to cost people their soul if they don't make those adjustments. Now, that's just a fact of reality. I wouldn't be much of a watchman or any other kind of person if I wasn't telling the truth in that aspect, even if it gets me killed. Eventually we're all going to go, like you said, let them take the body. Who cares, right? Because
to be honest, I've been thinking about it a lot lately, man.
Yeah. I think, and with all this stuff cracking down like they're doing, I really do think it's going to get a lot harder for us to exist in the way that we do now, if you know what I mean. And it's not to create.
Without a doubt. They've officially labeled us domestic terrorists. That's huge. That's never happened. There's no precedent for it.
That's right.
But we knew it was coming. So the next step is going to be taking out the people that they just can't shut up. And I'm going to say that you and I and several of us are going to be on that list.
That's right. That's right. That's it. And there's no conflict. It's like you said at the beginning, Christianity is one of the only religions that you can't talk about without getting in trouble. And I know even before this new terrorism list, back even, right after the 9/11 and some of that time, there was lists that came out stating that Christians were literally just, far-fetched and that we were considered terrorists before foreign nationals, foreign people coming to our soil. We were higher on the level of terrorism and the terrorist watch than these people that might actually be terrorists. And that's a bad thing, man. That's bad. But we're told in Scripture this was coming. We're told that they're going to call good for evil and evil for good. So the more truth that we speak out, there's going to be somebody there constantly gouging and somebody constantly throwing you down. And it doesn't matter. And the biggest and the worst, and get this, folks, I believe, and I want your opinion on this, Richie, is the Christians. Because there's so many so-called holier-than-thou Christians that are actually pointing. And I'm a Christian. I really am. I mean, that Christian is supposed to be Christ-like, or to try to strive to be. But there are so many out here in this religions and things that are pointing the fingers, and they don't think God can forgive, because they sure can't. People are not forgiving in their nature. Why do you think, which brings me to number 19 on the questions, why do you think so many people have gotten and become so hateful? I know the Scripture says that in the last days, many, or that the love of many will wax cold. We can see all of these things. And why is it that you think so many people now, especially since we've seen these quantum distortions or changes, their attitudes have become so full of hatred and pinpointing and all of these things that were foretold? Why do you think that we're seeing such a mass push now? Not just from the powers that be, but from literally people on the street that you meet. They don't want to hear about Jesus. They don't want to hear about their soul. They don't want to hear about God. They don't want to hear about anything because they think they're going to live forever and never die. Why do you think so many people have become so hateful?
First of all, I grew up hating. That was part of my job. It made me good at what I did. I was not a nice guy for a long, long time. I happen to know for a fact there's a lot of guys that I rolled with in Lynn that are probably watching or will watch this at some point because they've told me these are not people you would expect to be following me whatsoever at all, but they're dudes I grew up with. We hated, we fought, we did whatever. I wasn't a good guy. I just wasn't a good guy. To answer some of what you said, I think we get a lot of slack from other Christians, like Richy swears, so he's going to go to. They don't like the fact that I say that I'm a Christian, and then I don't come on. Hello, everyone. This is Richy from Boston. Welcome to my ministry. This is Brother Richy. I don't talk like that, and if I did, I'd be lying. I talk the way I talk. I don't know what to tell you. I try not to swear, almost specifically for Mimi Praise. I can see her. I don't know why Mimi, but I try not to swear when I'm making videos. I always think about her for whatever reason. Millie. But sometimes when I get worked up, I swear, and people listen to him. He's dropping F-bomb. Well, you know what? Sometimes saying, fuck it, you have to say it. And you know what? I hit my knees and I ask forgiveness. I would rather ask God to forgive me for saying a word that we don't even know the actual origin to whatsoever at all, as opposed to asking God, yeah, I know you said specifically, judge not, lest ye be judged. But, I figured there was a little wiggle room, so I thought I'd do your job for you. I'd rather ask him to forgive me for swearing. Why so many people hate? Because it's bred into everything. They're living in a massive predictive, programmed, genetically modified, fluoridated, vaccinated, chemicals coming from the sky. They're watching violence. They're hearing about sex. Everyone's 50 Shades of Grey. People don't even know what love is anymore. Do you remember the first time you ever fell in love with someone or thought you were in love? It's the best feeling in the world. I don't think that feeling's available anymore. These people don't have it. They're lacking. So how is it you're going to love some invisible entity that you don't necessarily believe in and mainstream tells you isn't real and it's ridiculous when you can't even love somebody else or even yourself? You see what I'm saying? When you can when you can make a video every single solitary day when you got dirt all over your hands, you're missing your front tooth and you're wearing $5, I think you're pretty comfortable with who and what you are. Everybody needs to do that. Or don't. It's your call. I hope that answered it. There's lightning coming from the sky right now outside for no particular reason. No thunder. Just lightning.
You better stay away from the windows for a minute.
I'm watching.
I'm playing. So would you elaborate on that just a little bit? This don't count as my question, even though we're at number 20. But elaborate about the concept of people not loving themselves in this whole you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself.
No, but everybody, because they're pushing everybody towards materialism. Everything, happiness doesn't come from being cool with who you are. You know what I mean? Movies, mainstream. We'll call it all Hollywood. You know, the wood that you make a magical wand to broadcast or cast broadly, make magic spells, etc. Hollywood, the stuff that's surrounding the Georgia Guidestones. It tells you that you can't be happy unless you've got to the point in life where you don't even know how to do anything. You simply pay other people to do it. Knowing how to do things is where you get life experience. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this item is broken. I'll fix it. Well, this item is broken. I'll call the guy. I'll call the guy. The guy will come and fix it for me. There's no satisfaction in that. And that goes on so many levels. You know what I mean? People get happiness, they believe, from Amazon. It shows up from a drone. You know what I mean? The Amazon guy's hiding around the corner, listening to you through your Siri, and he's going to bring all your stuff for you. So it's no problem. You know what I mean? They got it. I think I'd rather be a conspiracy theorist with no television and do what I do than be of this world, to be perfectly honest. And I'm very, very mindful of that. I eat because I have to eat. But I don't even think of it. I don't really even I don't enjoy all that very much anymore. I don't watch movies. I don't listen to music, and that bums me out because I love music, man. But I understand when they were talking about it's from the devil, they weren't kidding. They were not kidding. It may not have always been, but it was tampered with. It was moved. The frequencies were moved around enough. There's a reason when you're driving, if a song comes on, you punch it and start driving like an angry asshole. It's built into the song. It's all very, very diabolical.
That's
If that
have
incident-
you ever seen? Yes. Have you seen
Say
the
it again.
experiment where they? Have you seen the
The
experiment?
Japanese
Where they
scientist that took Metallica and Hitler's voice with the frozen water?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Videos on it, man.
Yeah. That was awesome, man. That's a neat thing, and that's
We're
exactly
made of
what you're
water.
saying.
God spoke everything. God is such an OG that when he speaks substance. His voice reverberates to this very moment right now. You know what I mean? We can do it on a smaller scale. They're doing it in the sky above us every day. Cymatics, whatever you want to call it.
So with us being in that situation, you know, negative breeds negative. I tell my kid all the time, you know, you better watch it. Negative breeds negative, you know. And I believe there's truth in that. Just like you were talking about, where somebody puts a negative comment, everybody just jumps onto it, and it blossoms. And if people would spread more love, I think, honestly, and I'm not talking just fake. I'm not talking about putting on a show. I'm talking about literally.
Right.
If you really love somebody, Scripture says, how can you love God whom you've not seen if you don't love your brother whom you have seen? That's Scripture. Everybody, you know, we was talking about, you know, I was going to mention the commandments, you know, where it says, love your brother as you love yourself, or love your neighbor as you love yourself. It doesn't say your brother, it says your neighbor. And who's your neighbor? Anybody that's around you, you know? Well, now, on Facebook, your neighbor is anybody you can get a friend like from. So what is your opinion on Facebook or about Facebook? I've heard it said that the CIA has said it's the greatest tool that they've ever had. What is your opinion about some of these mainstream, or not mainstream, but the social media platforms like Facebook and some of these other things? Do you use those, and what is your opinion of them? Is it more for business or friends, or is it just a good thing, or is it? I mean, because people put their whole life on there, everything. What's your opinion on these different platforms of social media? Take off.
I don't use Facebook, and I started making videos as soon as Regina Dugan came out and said, I'm no longer working for DARPA. I'm working for Facebook Building 8, and we've come up with technology that will help you share the thoughts that you were already going to share without even typing. So we basically have technology that can use your computer and take the thoughts out of your head, but everything's fine. I told everybody right there and then, stop using Facebook, and I started judging other channels that were telling people, hey, come over to our Facebook page. It's like, dude, stop using Facebook right away. It's the most insidious tool ever. You show everybody, every person that you know, what you think, how you're feeling. I'm feeling cute today. Well, feeling cute could mean it could be a good day to be a victim. You know what I'm saying? I don't use any of that stuff. I have Twitter because I don't know how to unhook it from YouTube. But I kind of try to use it tactically now. I got attacked by some guy said I was white supremacist yesterday. Me and Johnny Gatt and RTR Truth. Yeah, because we were pointing out that Zionism rules the world, and apparently that makes you a white supremacist. I'm Italian, so I'm dirty white at best. So there's that. True.
Dirty nice. Oh, that's funny, bro. Okay. Number 21. Are you ready? We're down to the last 5, man.
You said 21. Now you got 5 more. I knew you were going to do that.
Oh, 21 questions, right? And then you got the 5 extras. I know.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll play that game, right? That's all I see. Let me ask you this, just as a side note. What is your favorite Bible verse? I know you got to have something, or a favorite saying, or scripturally based. What is your favorite saying or Bible verse or something along that line, just so that it can be thrown out there? What do you got?
I've already discussed with you several Bible verses that concern me bad. I don't say they're my favorite, but I can't let go of them. They're always in my head, and that's, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Because when I meet people, I don't think like, oh, what a nice. I don't think like that. When I meet people, I think bad thoughts, and that bothers me, and I pray about it constantly. But my favorite verse, I'd have to say, because I've been watching the sun, moon, and stars since I was 9, and I'm old. is there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And I really can't help but notice, but it seems like someone's blocking the sun, moon, and stars right now. I'm going to take that as a sign. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
One other verse. One other verse is love thy neighbor as thyself. That bothers me too, because I can't stand my neighbors. And that's, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. My neighbor had a heart attack and did a face plant way down the street. Everybody ignored it. I ran over, rendered CPR. Almost ended up on the news. I will help absolutely anybody. No, I don't care if I'm going to die because of it. That's a fact. You can ask everyone that knows me. I've got videos where she didn't know the camera was running, and I got out to help people, and she's in the truck talking shit about me. There's a camera rolling. Oh, here he goes. Has to help somebody else again. Right when she said that, it was over. Like, you have an issue with me helping strangers? You know what I'm saying? I've been a stranger many times. I've never actually needed help. I can usually take care of myself, and she's going to hear this, I'm pretty sure. There's your answer. That's why we're not together. FYI. I heard you. And I still have it on video.
That's like the Good Samaritan, right?
You know, it's I get it from my grandfather. I get it from my father. We all do that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so listen, we're getting ready to wrap here shortly, and I want to appreciate or thank you again for what you've spent time with me and answering some of these questions. I know some of them probably sort of sticky. I do want to ask you a couple more on a personal level, but I wanted to say thank you again to all the people in the chat room, everybody's tuning in, and even those afterwards.
I want everyone to thank me for bringing Photo Helix back. When I checked his videos and saw he wasn't back for a year, I couldn't believe it. So here he is. You're welcome.
I know, man. You really got me too. That was a setup. You very talented the way you pulled that off. That was awesome.
Well, because you're too much of a perfectionist, man. You're checking all the knobs and all the lighting and all that. Just do your thing, man. YouTube's we're running out of time, man. There's too many talented people like yourself that aren't putting videos out. We're almost out of time. You know what I'm saying? They're pulling every trick out of the book right now, man. They're gonna take us down. That's a fact.
So let me ask you this: in your lifetime, because you mentioned your grandpa a lot, and your dad even, who would you say is probably the biggest influence in your life, hands down, and why?
My grandfather. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. My grandfather. I grew up in Lynn, Massachusetts. He was a Lynn cop. So I thought I was just bulletproof my entire childhood. Like, I never get in trouble for anything. Well, my grandfather passed away, and it was like I was allergic to handcuffs because I was breaking out in them all the time. You know what I mean? He got me out of more trouble, and he I don't know. My dad's a good dude. We didn't have a good relationship growing up. He was doing his own thing in Vietnam and all that stuff. Like I said, I was born on a military base. Hey, here's your son. Get on that plane. You'll see him in 2 years. That's exactly what occurred. So, but
yeah. What about your mother? How does she play a role?
My mother is an evil demon. That's the only way I can describe her. My mother is the worst person I've ever. So.
Ever met. Now, one last thing here. Then I want to get
my mother is why I have a tattoo on my arm that says "son of a bitch" right there.
Oh man. Okay, so really, with these people that are in like.
How about this photo? I'll give you a real good exclusive. My mother was the first person to ever put a gun in my mouth, and I think I was 9 years old at the time. The first person.
Wow.
Wow. That's mom.
That's
a true story.
We're right here. Okay, so what about this? And then I'll get your final thoughts here if we get ready to go out. Brothers, sisters, those kinds of things. What kind of family siblings do you have in your life?
No brother and sister. Just
so
me.
It's going to be said that you're a spoiled brat.
with white chocolate, with like,
My mother put a gun in my mouth when I was 9. So
um,
So it's not too spoiled, right?
like
Well,
coffee,
listen,
like
Richie, I want you to because you've answered a lot of questions and some extras. I want everybody to know that Richie is responsible for me being back on here. No kidding, he sort of set me up. I am working on a full feature, and I'm hoping that we can
don't
get
spill
that
the
into
beans.
post production. No, I ain't saying nothing. I just want to
Surprise him,
know
surprise
that.
him.
Oh yeah, no. We just, but I'm hoping to get it into post production pretty soon, and we're working on a lot of different angles. So I want people to stay tuned and subscribe. Because of this, I guess I'm doing a new show platform in while we're getting into the post production. So tune in and see who's next in the hot seat. We'll have to see who we can get in here.
Nice.
And speaking of next and people, Richie, you really are a fairly famous YouTube individual. Out of the people on YouTube, is there anybody in particular that you would want to give a shout out or something other than your channels?
Oh yeah, that's easy. Nicholson, 1968, ODD, Dutch Sense. Dutch Sense has been grinding it. They've been trying to wear him down, ruin him for as long as I've been on YouTube, and he's still going. He's like the Energizer Bunny, man. And the kid, I mean, he spotted heart rings before anybody even knew what they were. He called out Joplin before it happened, and he was right. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Crazy.
He's been around as long as I have, I think. I
Me
remember
too.
back when he
Me
was
too.
first.
We all started basically at the same. No, actually, that's not true. When I came up, Dutch was already in place. So, in place. That sounds suspicious.
Right. It's already positioned. Okay, so here, a gold star. This is the gold star question. Okay, because I've asked you some from the chat room and some of the people in different, when they were doing it earlier. This is the gold star question, and then I want you to give us your final thoughts and that kind of thing, and we'll get out of here and wrap up because I know you've already used a lot of your time up. Gold star question. This Mandela effect or quantum change. I know you had done a lot of work with Anthony Patch.
Quantum pollution, yeah.
Yeah, quantum pollution. What is your opinion? What do you think this is? Is it something you would even want to touch on or describe? Again,
it's easy. It's easy. A lot of your subscribers might not know this because everyone's like, Richie believes in the Mandela. Yes. I put up videos after I glossed over it originally going, dude, this is insane. It's just a distraction. The videos are still up. It's wrong. They're not changing the Bible, blah. And then I found out about Tiananmen Square. I was alive when Tiananmen Square happened. It was a big deal because the mainstream wasn't all weather women in purple dresses. It wasn't all, fear porn 24/7. It wasn't trying to work. There's a snowstorm coming and it's going to kill everyone. So bring your children inside because if you don't, they're going to die. It wasn't like that. They warned us. They said there's just been an incident in China. The military's been called in and a man's been crushed by a tank. In our reality, the man actually jumps on top of the tank and all is well. Let me give you a little hint. If that's what would happen, Tiananmen Square wouldn't even be a thing. But it is. They wouldn't have called him Tank Man if he didn't get run over by the tank. And now that's changed. Along with JFK's car, which has got, at the John F. Kennedy Museum, there's a 4-seat limo. The bullet couldn't have done what it did. It wouldn't have been the magic bullet if there was 6 people in the car. And that's changed. You know what I mean? The candy bar wrappers, all that other stuff, to me, that doesn't really do.
Hello? I don't know. I think so. I'm just about to go and buy flour, caster sugar, eggs. I brought a list. Caramel. Hey, see condensed milk. All you do is get condensed milk and heat it up and that makes caramel, doesn't it? Right, hold on, so you can buy the actual caramel. Aye. Right, is that a pound as well, but... Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's the condensed milk or something. It's even more condensed. Right, I get you. Right, so you don't need to boil the tin then. Right, that's fine, because I fancied making a couple of cakes because they're cheap. And I've just went, well, Emma went and got like a bread, milk and a loaf. But I said I fancy making a cake. So I'm gonna go and get... No, I know I can't make a cake for a pound, I know that. It's gonna cost a pound just for flavour. Oh Jesus. Right. As I was saying, flour, eggs, caster sugar. I need real butter. I'll need real butter, unsalted. Uh-huh. I was... sunflower oil instead of butter. I didn't think about that. I know, but I know how to make a fairy cake, and I'm just double checking with you. Ah, yes, 125 grams. No, but it's basically... Ah, you know, but I can judge by the bags, how much the actual bags weigh. I know it's talking about the wee cupcake things we used to get. What? Right, 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 so it's basically just breadcrumbs moulded up into like shortbread. Right. Right. So, a pack of digestive biscuits, right? Right, hold on. I need to write this down. Digestive biscuits. Or ginger nuts. Digestive biscuits. I prefer digestive. Digestives are better and easier to work with. Right, so digestive. Right, hold on a minute. Right, so I've got flour, caster sugar, eggs. I know, but if I want to make cakes, as well as it's to make for like a dessert for every day. Mum, that's what I'm using the money for. I went and bought tobacco, right? Hello? Right. And I've got money left, so I was wanting to go and buy. I've got everything I need, right? So I was wanting to buy flour, caster sugar, eggs, custard powder for custard, so I can make custard. No, the lid wasn't put on it right, and it ended up a disaster. But anyway, it's beside the point. Right, can I try this again? Mum, right. Flour, eggs, caster sugar. Right, that's the main ingredients to make butter. That's the main ingredients to make cakes. I'm on the right track. Right, now we can fill them with nuts, jam, carnation milk, so you can make caramel. Mum, this is just ideas for balloons. Right, Mum, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Let's forget it, it's alright, it's alright. I'm listening. Aye. You know, I made fairy cakes. I was just wanting something that I could eat that's I could have with custard and it's no big steaks or anything, it's going to wreck my teeth. So, and I was trying to think I could make a dessert and have a dessert every night if I've got flour, eggs, milk, and the essentials, and I could have different fillings. I.e., that's what I was going to say. Jam, um, jam, carnation milk for the like money and strawberry toffee stuff, nuts, but probably I. But you know how much it is to go and buy a cake every day. So I just thought it'd be cheaper. And then, I mean, I've not made cakes for ages. And I quite enjoy making cakes. Because I can come up with some weird and wonderful different things. Anyway, I'll write down what I think I need. Aye, self-raising. Let me make sure self-raising. Self-raising. Right, on my wee list I've got self-raising flour, caster sugar, eggs, custard powder, carnation milk, nuts, raisins. That's to make the toffee stuff, but you said I can buy stuff that's already made. So I can have mayonnaise shortbread without the chocolate. I've not got enough for today, everything. So I'll just buy and I'll put the toffee in the middle of it. In the middle of the sponge cake after I've made it and I'll leave it cool. Right, I just thought it'd be a nice idea if I made some cakes for a change and to save myself some money. I'm just going to buy the basics. Flour, eggs, milk, um, caster sugar, icing sugar, icing sugar, icing sugar. I know. Right, so essence. Aye, aye. I know, but to make cake, any sort of cake, you need the basics. And if I've got the basics, that's what I need. Right, okay. Right, I know what the consistency is roughly. Aye, they're a tenner, I've looked. No, they're a tenner now, believe it or not. I just wanted the cake. Right, night, bye. Yes, so a cake. Why is everybody getting stressed out? It's a fucking cake.
Doesn't really do it for me necessarily, but Brian Stavely brought up one that I never even heard of. and apparently it's history. The second biggest attack on America besides 9/11 was Pearl Harbor, was another contrived event. But apparently it isn't anymore because Black Tom, some dudes blew up the Statue of Liberty back in the early 1900s, and that's now the second biggest. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's rampant. But when you have the internet, you have digital technology, you can change things, and that's what they're doing. So Mandela effect's real. Quantum pollution, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely real. And it turns out that CERN decided to do a little happy, fun video where they were all happy that day, and they're simply holding up Mandela signs, rubbing it in our faces. So there's that. At any rate.
There's that. I love the catchphrases that people get. I'm always like, hang with me or bear with me, you know, because I'm just on and on. Richy, honestly, from the bottom of my heart,
It is.
From my heart, I really, I want to thank
anytime,
you.
Photo, anytime.
You're a lot more sincere and true, I think, than people realize. I get to know you more on a personal basis here, and this is an amazing thing. And so I really am thankful that you come out here and let me ask you some of these questions and gouge you a little here and there. And but ultimately, folks, if you're not subscribed to Richy, you know, I know nobody agrees. I mean, my gosh, if there's hate out here, it's for me a lot. But there's a lot of people that disagree with what I say or disagree with what Richy says. But ultimately, you better get this. You better make sure that you're right with God. Nobody's guaranteed their next breath or the next heartbeat. There is no ifs, ands, or buts there. If you can promise me you'll be alive a week, you're more of a God than I am, I'll grant you. Because nobody knows that. Nobody has that guarantee. And so, listen, folks, it's about forgiveness. It's about love, sharing one with another, and trying to help. So I'm going to ask you, share this, please, with folks. I've had people ask if they could help support me before. I'm not monetized. I did go ahead and put a PayPal in the link in the description. If y'all do want to do something, that's on y'all. Do or don't, as Richy says. But again, I want to thank you, Richy, very much. And y'all go over there and sub to him. You may not agree with all the things that we say, but that's okay. That's okay. That's what makes it nice. Because if everybody agreed on all the same stuff, well, we'd be a part of the hive mind, wouldn't we? We'd be just like, well, where they want us. But if you're one of us, hey, be a conspiracy theorist. It's okay. Don't let them scare you. It's okay. Just be you and search for the truth, love the truth, help each other. I did want to say hi to Awakened Saint. He's in the chat room out there. Awakened Saint, Paul Adams. They've got wrenches. I want to thank them. I want to thank all the people who have been helping with the wrenches. And again, this is my very first live show, and brought to you and made possible by Richy from Boston. Richy, thanks again. And y'all, I pray that you have a great, blessed day. Thank you for tuning in. Share this and pass it around. Y'all have a wonderful one. Bye.